Good morning. Happy Saturday. Krista here, Small Yard, Big Plants. It's supposed to be like 90 something degrees today, which, if I'm being honest, is a little bit too toasty for my liking. But it's late morning, and I'm trying to get out here, water everything, give them a good drink before the sun makes them all droopy. Um, Checking out tomatoes. I'm sure there are suckers I need to prune. I'm sure that they have grown enough that I need to like trellis them up more with those little clips, which are awesome. I don't know if you can tell behind me over here, the sugar snap peas have collapsed by their own weight. And so, that's fun. They're still producing delicious things, though. So I'm going to let them stay a little bit longer. I'm sure you'll see Violet, maybe Glory, be bopping around, getting some strawberries and some sugar snap peas. Maybe a bonus cat will hop in there to say hello. Who knows? It's just a Saturday in the garden. And I figured you'd like to see all the things with me. As per usual, I'll be watering and, doing little things. If I see anything interesting, I'll let you know. I know that there are some California poppies that are glorious, so I will definitely be highlighting those today and show y'all what's growing, what's blooming. Um, I did come up with a little bit of information on the sunflower situation, which I love sunflowers, but I'm realizing that perhaps they're not the best little companion for beans. So I might need to be pulling one today, sunflower that is, because I think it is stunting the bean growth in one of my garden beds, which, as much as I love to see the sunflowers, I really love to eat green beans. So I'm gonna probably have to make some tough choices there and see how that goes. So anyway, yeah, come along. Here are the sugar snap peas in my kind of front left garden bed. Remember how they would go like all the way up? Now they're just boop, done. I'll come in close. You can see they have just literally, especially the purple magnolia ones, they have just literally snapped over. They got too heavy. They collapsed. There's still lots of peas to be eating, and we will. Those purple ones are so beautiful. But as you can see, they just got to be a little bit too much for themselves. And so right now, down below there, I've got cucumbers growing. I've got cucumbers growing down at the bottom. So right now they're okay to stay, but eventually I will have to pull these out so that they don't impede the cucumber growth. But gosh, they're just so pretty. Violet wants to say hi.
Hello.
Oh, let's get you in focus. You're not in focus. Say hello.
Hi.
She loves to help with these.
Look
And I am all for any kiddo that wants to be in the garden.
look at how good these peas are.
Are they tasty?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're super yummy.
And beautiful. But yes, there are lots and lots that they're just like, oh, so yummy. So probably maybe a week, maybe just a few days, I'll let it stay. But I also don't want it to crowd out the things down here. Look at the California poppies. Are you kidding me? They're like sherbet. Like they're just the most pretty little things. And you can see in the middle there, that's a seed pod coming out of the middle. So I'm going to let them reseed and come back, hopefully year after year. And then the other poppies that are in the pepper bed are getting much bigger, but none of the other ones have bloomed yet. I'm really, really anxious to see like what kind of color are you going to be? Like what are you? Are you purple? Are you red? Are you creamsicle colors? Are you pinkies? I just don't know. But I am so excited to see it. I can't wait. Okay, I want to show you the sunflower culprit. This is a Sunfinity hybrid sunflower, so I'm not sure if it's going to come back kind of true to form. It's not like an heirloom seed, so it's not stabilized yet. I feel like it's, hybrids, if you save seeds, or like this one, if it just kind of volunteers in your garden, you don't really know necessarily what it's going to look like. And so it might be more, it could be different, which I mean is kind of part of the fun, right? So anyway, this sunflower particularly behind me, which is this big tall one right here. I'll point it out in a second too when I get closer to it. So it volunteered. I let it stay, not thinking anything of it because I love sunflowers. However, I have noticed the bean plants. Let me come down so you can see me. Still getting used to wearing this whole like mic situation. And anyway, it's a little interesting. Maybe I can like tilt this up so you can see me a little bit better. Anyway, the thing that I've noticed is that like down here, all down here, I planted all of my beans, right? So I've got bush beans and I've got runner beans, pole beans. 1, 2, 3, 4. They are taking a very long time to get going, which is kind of weird because we've had warmer weather these last few weeks. Especially this guy right here, it's looking like very grumpy, yellow, kind of unhealthy. And that one's kind of yellowing, and the ones in the middle are just very small. And I was looking it up. Actually, Derek suggested this. But I was looking it up and realized that sunflowers are, how do you say it, allelopathic, something like that. Basically, the sunflower roots that are part of this gigantic plant, which again, like I said, it's a hybrid. So this is already way bigger than it was last year. So it probably isn't growing true to form, which I, didn't really think about. It's much bigger. It might not even be a seed from that plant. It might have been something else that a bird just happened to drop in. But they're allelopathic or allelopathic, however you say it. Their roots secrete like a chemical that kind of inhibits other plants around it from growing. Now, it doesn't hurt everything. Like the squash plants are growing, the nasturtiums, they're fine. But the beans, particularly, are stunted. They are having a tough time. And I really, really want my beans to grow. I missed having them last year because I didn't plant any. And so I think this guy's got to go. Time to go for the sunflower. It's sad, but I think it's going to be a good decision. Maybe I can plant it somewhere else. I don't know. We'll see if I can like transplant it somewhere else in the garden. But I definitely want all of these guys to stay. I want them to like come up this beautiful trellis. I want to have all the beans to eat. They're beautiful. And this guy is just being a bully, apparently. Okay. Now here's another sunflower. I am trying to remember if I planted this one. I don't think that I did. I think this is another volunteer. Oh, the wind just blew you over. Whew, you guys blew over in the wind, and I don't want my phone to break. So I'm having Violet come over and be our spotter today. So anyway, I was going to show you. I have another sunflower right here. Now, I don't exactly remember if I don't remember if I planted the seed for this sunflower. This one looks more multi-branching than the other one in the front bed. I think this one volunteered again. So maybe this one is kind of a more true to form Sunfinity. Or maybe it's just a multi-branching. It could be an earthwalker. It could be a sunspot. I mean, it could be, I guess, a multitude of sunflowers. So learn from my mistakes and like label your plants. Maybe I did. Maybe I labeled. I didn't label. There's no label down there. So I guess it's a surprise. However, what I wanted to say was this one is growing. Tons of foliage, like flowers and California poppies and other things are growing around it. And the tomatoes in this bed look fantastic. Like they're growing. We've got tons of blooms. They're nice, sturdy plants. There's still a good amount of airflow coming in. So I'm not really worried that sunflower is like stunting these. I don't think it is. I think it's just the beans. So that is really what we're going to deal with. And honestly, maybe it's helping. I'm not really sure because again, this bed looks so much better than that tomato bed in the back. That one in the back looks much more sparse. So maybe that one needs a sunflower. I don't know, or maybe it needs something else. I think also I'm going to come in here because especially this one has a good amount of shade, and even that one's got some dappled shade underneath the plants. So maybe the other one needs a sunflower, or maybe who knows what the other one needs. Also, I think I'm going to plant maybe some lettuce seeds underneath where in both beds where the tomatoes are because I really, really need them to be um, like have some shade, the lettuce plants. Otherwise, they'll just bolt or they'll get really bitter in the more summer weather and heat that we're having. So I think I'm going to plant some down underneath, and I'll show you guys kind of up close when we do that. But all right, so there's just some main things I'm doing right now. Um, I gotta water the plants before I start doing anything else. So here we go. Put on some tunes. Chill out with me as we water the garden. I think optimally you should probably be doing this in the morning, like early morning. My kids have just barely learned like not to wake me up in the morning. Violet is almost 7 for reference, and so I think I slept in a little bit more this morning, and it was glorious. And so it's like after 10, and I'm out here watering. But it's not the hardest part. It's not the hottest part of the day yet, so I figure it'll still absorb some water. It's better to do it at all versus waiting for like the perfect time. I might consider coming back through later this evening and giving it another water if things are looking particularly droopy. Like I said, it's supposed to, I think, be in the 90s today, which is really hot for us, especially after the kind of temps we've been having. And so I don't want things to get like shocked by that. I certainly don't want my tomatoes to like start dropping blossoms because it gets too hot, which can happen. So we'll see. Tomorrow's Sunday, church day, a little bit busier. I don't know if I'll have time to come out in the garden in the morning. So we'll see kind of how it goes. Uh, but again, better to do it at all versus not at all, right? Can you spot me? I don't know if you can see me or not. They're getting taller, which is fantastic because my favorite part, honestly, is when the tomatoes get so big, it's like a wall, like a secret garden of tomatoes, a tomato jungle, if you will. I wanted to tell you guys. Yesterday, I made a new thing called it's basil tea. I don't know if you've ever had basil tea. I have not, but I always grow basil every year because I think it helps with the tomatoes. I like to put it in sauces. I like to cook with it, but also the aromas of those things mixed with the marigolds and things, it kind of confuses pests, right? So it helps to have more biodiversity and also pest control in the garden. Anyway, point being I grow a ton of it every year. And sometimes I just kind of like, I don't know what to do with it. So Jessica Sowards on Roots and Refuge Farm had posted a couple of tutorials on how to make basil tea. So I gave it a whirl yesterday, and it was so good, y'all. It was so good. So you just take, I just did like a quart jar. I suppose you could do this in bigger jars. I used a ball jar just so that I knew the hot water wouldn't like crack the glass or anything like that. which has happened to me before with other things, not super fun. And so, really, you just take Violet and I came through the garden yesterday, and we just picked a bunch of basil. So I trimmed the tops off of the Genovese basil, which is just like culinary sweet basil. I also have Tulsi basil back in the herb bed, which just like smells so good, and is also really good for your body. And so anyway, so I picked some of that. I also have other types of basil growing right now that aren't ready yet, but they will be in a while. So basil takes a little bit to grow. Easy to grow, but it takes a little while. So like blue spice basil, I have lemon and lime basil growing. So I'm going to try this with that also. But really, you just like boil a kettle of water, pour the water over, like a cup or so of basil leaves clean, like rinse them off. I don't want bugs in my tea. Um, Let it steep covered for like 20, 25 minutes or so. And then I used like a mesh strainer and I strained it out into a pitcher with some honey in the bottom of it, like local honey. Actually, mine is Montana honey because it's so good from my sister's house. And out in that area, it's my favorite for whatever reason. But local honey would be really great for your allergies and your immune system, things like that. And then just kind of like stir it up while it's still warm so the honey melts. Add a little bit of lemon juice, ice, and enjoy. And I tell you what, I was a little skeptical. I was like, I don't know, like I like basil, but I don't know if I wanted to like drink the aroma of basil. Y'all, it was so good. Like I cannot stress enough. You have to try it. Okay, can y'all see me? Finally finished watering. It does take a fair bit of time, but like I said, it's a good thing. You can see I'm sweating and reflecting some sunscreen today because it's hot. But hopefully you can see me. The hat is definitely essential. So I'm sorry if it's obstructing your view. But I wanted to kind of sneak in all of these like kind of shady bits underneath the tomato plants. That's where I want to put in my lettuce seeds. So I've got some seed. I've got Flash Tree Butter Gem, Little Gem, and Butter Crunch from an assortment of places. These are from like 2021. I'm going to toss them in. They're a little bit older, but I'm just going to like surface sow, scatter them in, scratch them in, so we can have some lettuce growing in between our veg here, our tomatoes. As you can see, I also have like basil. If you can see, that's down here. I've got marigolds. I've got little basils growing, more basil seed. And so I really want it to be full and lush. And I'm going to do it on the other side of the tomatoes also. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing ish, because honestly, the more food we can get out of here, the better. But like right in here is a really good pocket. Let me see if I can show you. Right in there is a good pocket where I'm going to be putting some things in. So maybe Maybe you can see that a little bit better. Also, these are getting unruly. I gotta connect them up. Also, since I'm down here, everything where like tomatoes might be touching the ground, I'm gonna prune that, so that way we can keep having airflow and get rid of some of these like little spotty things before they turn into a problem. Because we don't want that. We want tomatoes. So here, flashy butter jam, yummy stuff. So I'm just gonna like make little spots in the shade here to put in seeds. I'm really great at sowing lettuce. I'm not great at eating lettuce that I plant. I'll be honest. I forget to harvest it. I forget to come out and take care of it. As you can see, super tiny little seeds. So I'm just going to surface sow them in there. I just watered, so the soil's nice and wet. And yeah, I'm just going to go through and kind of do that, kind of push down a little bit so it's touching the soil. But that should do it. I mean, it's simple as that. And I'm going to leave that open from the mulch so that I remember that I have planted lettuce there. And I'm just going to do that everywhere where I see little open spots that could have some tasty lettuce. I'm going to just put some in. So I'm going to do some butter crunch here in the middle. Again, little tiny seed. And I'm putting a bunch so that I have higher probability of success here because it's kind of older seed ish. Ooh, man, I'm getting old. Let's see. In here, the nasturtium is. Yep, I'm going to do some little lettuce right in the front. Why not? Right in here. Let's do some little gem. Ooh, interesting. So this next one that I'm doing is little gem. Look, it's white. Huh. That is interesting. Scratching it in, pushing it into the soil. I'm going to do some on the other side there. All right, so I've got some basil here. But look, I've got like a really nice patch right here that's just kind of open. I'm going to pop in some lettuce. And let's do some more butter crunch because I think that one is my favorite. Scratch it in, push it down, make sure it's touching the soil. Awesome. Simple as that. All right. I'm going to call that good. Actually, maybe I will sneak some right back in here since I do have a little spot. Cool. All right. Let's go do it on the other side of the tomatoes. Okay. Woo. I'm dropping you. I brought my chair over because I'm done with kneeling for today. So I brought my chair over. I'm going to put some more of the lettuce seeds in with my cherry tomatoes. As you can see, they're a lot skinnier. There's a lot more airflow. There's not as much growing in this bed. So I'm going to put in some more lettuce and also see what else I can put in here because we do have some marigolds, but it's just looking so sparse compared to the other side. And I like to fill it in. I like full garden beds. Okay, so I've got some lettuce leaf basil right here. So I'm going to let that grow, but like there's a big spot right here. I can definitely put some lettuce in. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's do some more flashy butter gem. Put some in my hand, sprinkle it in, and just push it down. Okay, I'm going to put some right in here too, if you can see that. And it's already a little bit shaded, which is great because you don't want your seeds, you don't want your lettuce to get super hot. It'll bolt right away. It also tastes kind of bitter. And so it's nice to have shady spots where we can stick some things in here. Let's do the little gem, which is the white seed. Again, it's so interesting. I don't know why that one is white. I don't know that I've seen very many white lettuce seeds before. So I'm just going to sprinkle it in. It does make it easier to sow these ones. I'm just making sure that it's touching the soil, just kind of pushing it down. And then maybe we'll do another little one right here on the front. Why not? And we'll do some more butter crunch over here because, again, that's, I think, my favorite lettuce seed that I have so far. And, as I'm over here, I'm looking at the tomato plants. They don't need as much pruning as the other ones. But there's still plenty of suckers that I can get, and I'll bring you in to see that too. So again, just pushing them in. There we go. All right, other side. Then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, time to tie up tomatoes. I'm going to kind of close in so you can see what I'm doing. I'm using these handy dandy little clips. This is the second season I've used them. I've been repeating, like I've been reusing them so they stay in really good shape. And you just clip it so that in the little like V right there, that's where the twine goes. And then this goes around the tomato plant. And it gives lots of space for the tomato to grow, but it also helps keep it from flopping over. So let me show you. Okay. All right, let's see if I can do this one-handed. So here's our little clip, right? Here's our twine. So I'm going to kind of position it so that that clips first. And then this goes around, where are we? And we clip. And then this holds on. And see, it's not moving anywhere. I'm giving it a good tug. It's not moving. And that is going to help this tomato on our little trellis system to stay nice and upright. Here, I'll do another one so you have another example. And then I'll do some with the big ones too. So that was our pea spine. This is our Isis candy. It's a little bit shorter in stature right now, but it still needs to be trellised. So we're going to same thing, take our twine, put the little thing in there first so it's grabbing onto it. And actually, I'm going to scoot it down just a little bit so it goes under this juncture of the plant. There we go. Excellent. All right, here's another one. We've moved over to the other side. This is my slicer tomato bed. As you can see, again, much fuller and bigger. Of course, bigger plants than the cherry tomatoes, but just like beefier stature too. This one right here that I'm going to show you an example of, this is the hillbilly plant. I mean, check out those stems. Check out those stems. They are chunky. And I've done a little bit of the clips down here at the bottom, but I need to do some more up at the top. So again, bear with me doing this one-handed. Here's my clip. I'm getting it nice and kind of bendy and ready. I'm going to take this and I'm going to squish in. So if you can see that, got it clipped around the twine on the right, and then I'm clipping the actual clip around this chunky tomato bit there. Not moving around. It's going to keep it nice and tall. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that around all of them. All right, so here's an example right in here. This is a sucker. Now, ideally, you want to pinch them when they're like that, when they're itty bitty little leaves. I missed that one, and I don't want it to grow into like a whole nother, second plant, because I want the energy to go into tomato production on the main stem that I have. So I'm taking my pruners, careful not to hit the twine there, and I'm cutting it off. Now, I've never done this, but I've heard that if you have a big sucker like this that you kind of let go, this will essentially be like another tomato plant. So if you wanted to root this and have a freebie, there you go. Let's find another one. I'm sure there are more that I've missed. Here's another good example. This is one of our sun gold tomato plants. If I can get it to focus, this is growing from the roots at the bottom underneath the soil. We don't need that. So I'm just going to pull it. And like that branch down there, really low, I'm going to prune it. It's not really doing much for the plant. I don't necessarily need it for production, so letting it go. Same thing down here. This one at the little plant, just trimming it. Don't need it. If anything, it's just kind of creating a risk. Here's a sucker that I missed. I'm just going to cut underneath it and let it go. See what happens. Also, like I mentioned, anywhere that your tomato foliage is like touching the ground or starting to look a little bit sickly, I'm going to cut that off too. Just say goodbye to these guys because we don't need them. And right in here, that was actually a sucker that I also missed. So I don't know if it's focusing in very well, but I trimmed below it. I'm just going to let that go, see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna go through. I don't know if you can see super great. It's so bright out here, so we'll see if this footage makes YouTube or not. But I'm gonna go through every single one like I just showed you, and I'm gonna be securing them with these clips and pinching off the suckers. Suckers in the tomato plants that I miss that are like, if they're tiny, tiny, I'm just pinching them with my fingers. If they've gotten bigger because I missed them, I'm using snips because I don't want to like rip any of the like outside of the plant and create like a wound basically that like bacteria and things can get into. So anywhere that the sucker is more than just tiny, I'm snipping it off. So I'm taking my bag of clips along with me as I go and just grabbing a few. And this one is our bread and salt ox heart. This is a big guy. Oops, I dropped one. So this guy should be, there's multiple here that are coming. I'm gonna take off my little suckers where I can see them. Ooh, look at this guy. So this has like 3 liters going. It's got this one, and this one. So I mean, I want to let them both go, right? Like these are some of my favorite tomatoes. They're huge and delicious. So what I'm gonna try and do is like stake this one and then maybe bring this one over and tie it to the T-post. See what happens. Maybe that can be there for now. It's a jungle, which is amazing. So this guy I want to keep for sure. So I'm going to take a clip. Whoop, too many in my hand. Okay. I'm going to take a little clip, clip it around the twine first, and then this guy. So that's going to stay there. Now, this one here will produce fruit, but I'm a little hesitant to have a 3-liter going, so I might just cut that one off. Feels a little ruthless, especially when I want all the tomatoes. But like these guys are big producers. These are connected to this main stem. I think I'm going to cut that other one off. So let's see if I can get creative here. I'm going to take this, I'm going to take another tie and I'm going to put it around the twine, like kind of down a little bit lower. You probably can't see this, but I'm going to attach it there. So it also is holding them both up together. I'm going to take my pruners, deep breath, Gonna cut off that third stem here because, oh yeah, it was a sucker. It was just a really big sucker. Don't need it. I mean, I want it, but I don't need it. And I think if I kept it, it would sacrifice the rest of the health of the plant. So I'm going to leave that alone. This part right here is also a sucker that I forgot. So I'm going to get that gone. And really just kind of looking through anywhere at the bottom that like has leaves that I don't need. You know, things that are touching the soil, kind of preventing airflow. I'm trimming it all up. Get more airflow, healthier plants. Your tomatoes will thank you for it later, and you'll say, oh my gosh, it's so delicious. Worth cutting off some leaves.
Hey guys, I'm back. Hi.
And also, as your tomato plants get bigger, their leaf canopy is bigger too, right? So they're getting all that they need from the sun. It's not as critical to keep the stuff at the bottom anymore. And it's okay to say goodbye to some extras. You don't want to cut them all back, but sometimes it does feel like you're cutting more than you'd like. It's really okay because you want to have a healthy plant. You want to have yummy tomatoes. Okay, leave it alone. Spiders are garden friends. Don't touch it. Just leave it be. And then we'll see how that goes. All right, on to the next. Another one. This is my beefsteak tomato. It's got some suckers I'm going to pinch because they're little, or they used to be little. And it's got two stems, two main leaders, I should say. I'm going to pick, I'm kind of alternating as I go, like which ones I'm connecting to the twine here. Again, because I'd like airflow, but I want to be able to keep them all together. So I'm going to put one down here. And, shocker, another little sucker that I missed turned into a whole big branch of the tomato plant. So we're going to do that. Now, these guys, there's a lot of stuff like down below that really I don't need anymore. And if anything, it's probably just going to get sickly. It doesn't have any flowers or anything. So I'm going to get it gone. Improve airflow, improve the health of your plant overall. Ooh, I've got a little baby tomato growing. Yes. Thank you, beefsteak plant. I'm so psyched. Get it gone. Improve airflow. This giant thing, this is one, I don't know if you can see this down here. This is one giant, I think it's a Hawaiian marigold, probably reseeded from last year. Super fun. I'm going to let it go. All right. That's looking pretty good. Next up, get my clips. Figure out where I want to support the plant and identify the suckers that gotta go. All right. And really, again, this is a process that I'm doing like if I'm responsible with my tomato plants, truly like every weekend or every couple of days, I'm going through and looking for suckers, and really identifying, you know, what can get gone from the base of the tomato plant for a healthy tomato growing experience here. I think that is looking pretty good. All right, last one on this side. This is the Moscovich. This is the one that has the biggest tomato growing, and I'm so psyched. It's also branched out a little bit, so I'm going to kind of pull this one in, I think, and try to keep it together here. And I'm checking the bottom. There are some spots that have painful cut. It's got to go. There's some stuff growing at the bottom. Keep that. Anything that's touching the ground, again, susceptible to disease, so you want it to go away. And I may end up taking this guy and like tying this one to the other T-post. We'll see. See how it goes. All right, one more side of tomatoes to go. Whew, it's getting hot. I think I might need to pause for lunch here in a minute. Get some water. This is our Cherokee Carbon tomato. Such a beautiful plant. I've never grown it before. I've heard lots of good reviews about it. I'm super psyched to try eating it. It's a cross between I believe a Cherokee purple and a carbon tomato. And it looks just solid. But also needs some pruning. So, suckers, get those going. It's also kind of like twisty turny a little bit, which isn't super great for airflow. So I'm gonna come down here, cut off these like funky ones so that I'm not creating a moisture trap basically for this tomato. Oh, get that musk on. Well, you gotta have your hat on, it's hot. Don't want sunburn. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see. This one right here is our hillbilly. I featured it a little bit earlier. I've already kind of clipped it up. Now I'm just looking for suckers and unhealthy leaves. But it looks pretty good. So just let that one be. Next up, pink jazz. All right, put those down so I don't poke myself. Slide these a little bit. As the tomato plants get bigger, I'll explain kind of what this system is. I think it's referred to as the long and lean, because as they get bigger, your indeterminate tomatoes, that is, we are essentially lower and lean. That's what it's called. We're lowering down more twine, and then we're leaning the tomato out so it has more growth space without having to be, 12 feet in the air, because then you can't harvest it. There's no fun.
I was looking at the ground to see if I found any pups. Look at how big these ones are.
Whoa, that's from the plum tree next door. All right. This is a whole nother tomato plant on the pink jazz. Again, I'm trying to do like a main single or double leader. This is a third, so it's got to go. But again, like that's a whole tomato plant, right? Like they're just growing right along. Let's see. Anything else? Pruning, looking at the bottom. Anything that looks sickly or discolored or spotty, I want to get gone, get rid of. Because it's not going to do us any favors. All right, that's probably pretty good. And then lastly, this is our pork chop tomato here. I think this is going to be the last thing that I do this afternoon. I might come out later this evening. We'll see. Clip it to the twine, clip it to the plant, give it some structure, and go in to cut. Yep, put them in the...
Have such a beautiful bird.
They do.
You should hear the sound when they hear that sound.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those are big plum seeds, huh? Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Time for a break. Lunch and some water for sure. It's later in the evening. Well, I mean, it's later in the day. It's like 6 o'clock or something. I don't know. We just had dinner. We came out here to some more shade, and I did want to show you all some of my favorite things that I discovered today while I was working in the garden. Lots of buds that are about to open, things like that. So, yeah, just doing a quick roundup at the end of the day. Bonus cat has made her appearance. Hello, kitten. She's a little snaggletooth. We call her Stormy. She's a neighborhood cat. She's very sweet. In the berry patch, look at that. Look at all these raspberries that are going to come. I can't wait. I do have a little corner of sunflowers and things, and I did pop a sunflower in with the raspberries, but they don't seem to mind as much as the beans do. I also have some salvia back there. It's little, but it's there for the hummingbirds and the pollinators. Here is, I think it's purple coneflower that I got from the garden sale at the end of April. It's finally got some buds coming up in the top, so I can't wait to see them open up. I just noticed, I think, the longest strawberry runner I've ever seen. So this is the top tier of the green stalk. It goes all the way down, and then it's got, see right there, it's, I mean, it could probably plant right there in the middle, but it definitely, if I stick this in some soil, it will definitely root, and I get a free strawberry plant. So I'm gonna tuck that in somewhere. It's trying so hard to grow. Maybe just right in there. I'm just gonna like set it there, and it'll root in the soil, which is awesome. I've got some others too, but that one was like almost the whole length of the thing. Surprise, surprise. The cilantro has bolted. It's going to flower. I'm just gonna let it. You know what? If it reseeds and I get some later, cool. I'm just as predicted. It does not last long, but look at the lavender. It is so beautiful. I don't know if you can tell, like, it's just such a vibrant purple. Oh, it smells so good. I love this little herb bed. It's just delightful. Even the lemon thyme is flowering. I'm gonna come through and give it a haircut. You see those tiny little purple flowers? I'll just cut them back. For those of you who have never seen it before, this is how asparagus grows if you don't eat it. So it turns into this big ferny mass, and then it develops these cute little bell flowers, and then there's, see those little balls? Those are little like berries that will kind of remind me of like holly berries, and that's how it spreads seed. Isn't this so cool? I hope we have asparagus forever. That would be such an awesome thing to have in abundance. Sorry if you can hear the kids in the background. They are filling up a pool right now, so they're, you know, they're getting a little wild. But the straw flower, do you hear that? Oh, it's so fun. I think they're a keeper. I dig them. They're so unique. And some poppies that are just growing up and lovely. Some salvia and bonus cat. Another sunflower, because I just can't say no to them. They pop up and they're beautiful. The carrots are looking really great. There's 2 rows of carrots. I'm psyched about that. Here are my Chinese noodle beans. I planted these, well, I guess the end of April. They are very slow growers anyway. I don't think that it matters that on the other side of this bed is the sunflower. I have high hopes. I think they're gonna climb up and just be delightful. I love the little blossoms on the pineapple ground cherries. Oh, so fun. I do have some that are growing in the husks right there. When they get ripened up enough to eat, they will fall off the plant to the ground, and that's how you know they're ready to eat. And they're delicious little snacks. The peppers are growing. There's that Pippin's Golden Honey. So pretty. I just saw another green one. I don't know if you can see that. Right in there. What is that? That is a Alacia sweet pepper. So that will get bigger and ripen to red. Oh, they're so delicious. I can't wait. Oh, and there's another one that's coming right there. They're coming. That's a Carmen. Oh man, it is going to be a good pepper year. I can feel it. Look what I just found. That's a Carmen sweet pepper. Look how big that's getting. Oh man. Yes, let's go. And here is another glimpse of that Sugar Rush peach pepper growing. So good. That I think is one of my favorite hot peppers. I'm not sure if I see any other big hot peppers growing yet. Again, sorry about the kiddos. They're filling up the pool. I think this is like the other prettiest pepper I have. This is a jigsaw pepper. It's a hot pepper. And they just have like the most pretty purple blooms. And the variegation on the plant is just kind of stunning. Like, man, the whole plant is beautiful and they taste so good too. Oh, this is exciting too. Look, little chamomile. I don't know why I sang it like that, but I love chamomile. It is one of my favorite smells actually. Garden and otherwise. It's lovely. And my cucamelon plant is finally coming back. Did not transplant well. I had to sow some new seeds. But that I think was from the previous one that I cut way back. And it's finally coming back. So cucamelons hopefully will be a garden snack this year. And here's something else that I totally loved. I mean, shocker, it's a nasturtium. But it's just like trailing out. It's bright yellow. It's just so gorgeous. The petals are such a beautiful texture. Like, they're just beautiful. Oh, the zucchini plants, squash plants are growing. We'll see how these beans do now that I took out the the offender, the sunflower. Hopefully they'll start trailing up. I would love to have a good bean harvest this year. Anyway, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Kiddos are getting crazy, ready to go swim in the pool. It's hot. Thank you all for hanging out with me in the garden today. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment if there's something that you want to see or if you have any suggestions about what I could plant in with the cherry tomatoes. Fill in that bed a little bit more. Find some time for joy. Take care.